Which are the 5 most common restraints to our inner transformation? And what do I really mean about inner transformation? What to transform? What I usually mean is transforming our lower nature into higher nature. But what is this lower nature? Let's find out in this video and together with all the 5 restraints. The first 3 restraints can be presented together because they compensate one another. And these are techniques, like spiritual techniques, like for example, learning how to have an astral projection, or practicing Reiki, or how to open your third eye and stuff like that. And the second one is knowledge. So what in a personal growth, in the spiritual growth, you increase a lot your knowledge in time. And the third is experiences which you do while you're on your path. Now that's quite strange, having these 3 parts as restraints, as something that blocks us, that are hurdles for us. Why? Because it's so strange, because all these 3 are so important. You need knowledge because knowledge is power, right? Without knowledge of yourself, you cannot change anything. So how can this become a restraint? This is the issue. The issue is, and it's for all 3, if you gain a lot of knowledge, the problem is here that your mind is always thirsty of learning. It's a typical, characteristic of our mind. Curiosity and wanting to learn. It's never enough for the mind. So that's a great thing, great thing. So studying is important and learning more things, but the issue starts when at the same time you're not increasing and developing your connection with yourself, your real self, your higher self. Because every time you're increasing your knowledge and your experiences, your spiritual experiences, and your techniques, you're learning more and more techniques, you are nurturing the mind, and that is your ego. It can easily become your ego. And when this becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and at the same time your connection with your higher self isn't bigger and bigger, it's very easy, there's a high risk that the ego basically let's say, takes over. You identify too much with him and you lose connection with this part, and you're not anymore, let's say, inspired by higher energies, higher vibrations, and you lose yourself, into your ego schemes, and that's dangerous for your personal growth. It can hinder your growth greatly. So again, learning the various techniques, or having experiences, which can be also like ayahuasca or out-of-body experiences, whatever mystical experience you have, all are good, especially if they're spontaneous. Also, like spontaneous techniques that some people have, they can see the energy fields and stuff like that. There is a reason why that happens. So it is important to develop that and use it, nurture it. That's okay. So I'm not saying that these 3 restraints, these techniques, knowledge and experiences are bad. They're not bad. They are necessary, but they must not become your masters, okay? Or they must not define who you are. You are not more evolved only because you know more techniques, more knowledge, or because you have more experiences. You know more. Yes, okay, you know more. But it doesn't mean that you are better than other people or more evolved. I believe that evolution is based on another theme or characteristic of a person, of an individual, and is how much did you transform your lower nature into higher nature? That's the main point. So let's see now what I mean with lower nature. Lower nature is all the negative energies, I mean emotions like envy, like jealousy, like greed, like fear, like hate. All of these energies here are part of our, of who we are today, and with who we identify, because we've lived these traumas in our childhood. So that's nothing bad. It's how we all grow in this world. The issue is that if we do not transform them, if we do not heal them, and we transform these energies from a lower vibration to a higher, which nurtures our higher vibration of our higher self, this is what happens. We are not evolving. We are just accumulating experiences. We are accumulating knowledge or techniques. We're not becoming a better person in sense that we are we react in a more let's say spiritual way in life, or let's say in a way where we create less suffering to ourselves and to other people. So that's the main part, I think. So, and doing this transformation, you need time. It doesn't mean that, okay, I'm doing this, but I don't have any transformation. I'm not on the right path. No, every path is long. Okay, it's not that it's magic. It just changed like that. But at least if you notice that you're just accumulating a lot of stuff, a lot of experiences and techniques, and you're not going anywhere. You're living the same experiences, the same traumas. You have the same feelings, the same ailments, the same financial worries, whatever, means that there's something that there's something missing there, And check over there if maybe you're too much invested in finding a solution, and you're just accumulating stuff and not really transforming what is happening inside of you. Okay. The key then to transforming your lower nature to higher is connecting yourself to a higher vibration, which I always teach in my book and also in my videos. Is the sun is the best way to connect yourself, to bind yourself to these high energies, because those are the energies that help you, stay on the right path, because they are filled with pure knowledge of who you are, and it gives you everything you need to, nurture your higher self, which means you can balance better all the knowledge you're accumulating. Now, I'll explain this better, this process, with some examples. When we want to achieve a very high goal in our life, in whatever, in whatever region. So let's say I want to be the CEO of a huge company. What do I need to do? Besides working very hard, of course. I need to connect with a boss above me, which also has the same goal. And so usually in the big companies, you go after him, right? So it's like you go after a master, let's say, a master or somebody who knows more than you. You follow his suggestions, in his footsteps, and you get there, right? So you have a higher. You're looking at somebody higher above you, right? That helps you. Or let's say you want to be a famous musician. You want to have success in that area, and what happens? Well, you need to first of all take inspiration from somebody that you admire, a musician that is much bigger than you, of course, and learn from him. And then also try to get inside an organization or have a contact which can push you through into this world and get you the right opportunity so you can succeed and show who you are, how you express music. So again, also here you connect to a higher, stronger, bigger organization, or you have an inspiration of a master which you really admire and love. Or let's say you want to be the best number one tennis player in the world. If you just follow techniques, experiences, and knowledge, it's like believing to become the number one tennis player in the world by just having the best. How do you say? Oh my God, I don't know the word. the tennis. Well, you know what's the word I'm looking for. You know, the best tool for playing tennis. You need then, or you think you just that's a tool that will be enough by knowing every trick of your business and of your sport, and also by training every day. I don't know, 6 hours a day. That's not enough, because all the 100 top players in tennis all do this. They all have perfect shots, perfect techniques. You know, all the tools which are the highest quality. They're all the same. So what makes the difference? The difference is when you find a master in tennis, a teacher who sees what are your psychological deficiencies, and he transforms them. He helps you transform them into strengths. So again, also here, that's the difference between all these number one players. So again, you need somebody also in tennis. You need somebody which is above you, let's say in this case, as experience, and also as a psychological level. No, he can guide you. So also in the spiritual world, if we want to reach higher realms, you have a goal of, let's say, enlightenment, you need to do the same thing. You need to connect yourself to a higher vibration, to something which is above your level of evolution. And I do not suggest that it is a master, a physical master, because a physical master is a person that is here incarnated also to learn something. It's not just to teach. He comes here also to learn, okay? So he has some flaws, maybe just a few or little, but still he's not the highest perfection. So connecting to him may not be the best way, maybe, or at least shouldn't be the only way to go towards your goal. It should be, for what I always believe is the sun, the physical sun, which is the easiest, most nearest thing we have as perfection of light, of evolution. So they're connecting with the sun is, for me, or to also, if you have other, perceptions inside of you of energies, it can also be God or this supreme being that you feel inside because you had experience of it, then that's also fine. It doesn't have to be only the sun, of course, but it has to be something that is far above who we are right now, because those are energies that can guide us really where we want to get, because also our goal, being enlightened, is pretty high, right? So we need that, absolutely. The fourth restraint is living alone, that is, not living in couple. Now this is quite a big issue, because what happens when we are living with other people every day, as you know, everybody mirrors something of us, and they show us where are our shadow parts, where are the parts where we have traumas, how our ego is working, and how we're creating suffering to us, to ourselves, and to other people. So the feedback we get from other people help us evolve faster, because you get awareness quicker on what are your flaws, what are your mistakes, where you're unaware of your shadow parts, and you can modify them. If you're alone, you project constantly your ego schemes, your thoughts out, but you're alone and you don't have the feedback as you have when you're with other people, and that slows you down. It hinders really your evolutional path. So being with a person is really like a sort of a turbo, if I can say, turbo boost for your evolution. And if I do understand that if you don't have a person with you in this moment, it's not easy to find a person. But if you don't have any other option, what I would suggest is trying to find a person which lives near you, and you meet once a week, and you openly talk about your issues, or what the other person you have makes you feel, or what you don't like by him. And there are some techniques that you can do. Of course, doing it in the right manner, you have to know what you're doing. But that is something that will really help you, because if not, what happens if you're alone too much time, too long, months, years, or you're alone, all these thought patterns that you do not see, they become stronger and more, let's say, solid or more less flexible, and you just identify much more easily inside of them, and it's more difficult to get out of that identification process that limits and blocks your evolutional path. So that is a big one, not being alone, at least not too long. The fifth restraint is not being present. Now, this is not the same thing as what usually is being taught, which is being here and now, being present in the moment. Basically, at the end, it becomes the same thing. But what I want to say is being present at your feelings, being present to your inner child, to what you feel, which is not the same thing if you just say being here and now. You can try to be here and now, but you're not being here, present to your inner child. You need to do that consciously to be there. So, why is this so important? Because when we were a child, we lived certain traumas. Let's say we lived abandonment, okay? And this was an emotion that we couldn't get rid of, or we couldn't explain to our parents that we're living this and what we really wanted. And our parents also weren't able to understand this, or weren't even aware of what was happening to you, because, also parents aren't perfect. They have their own issues. So, we cannot even blame them for this, as everyone here comes in this world with trauma, basically, grows with trauma. So what do you do when you're a child? The only way to survive is to basically repress, to suppress this emotion. It's the only way because it's not helping you in this relationship with your parents. It could even become dangerous because it becomes something that becomes stressful for you and also for your parents. Maybe you feel it as a danger, so you put it away. So when you put it away from your consciousness, okay, you go away, right? You abandon yourself, you abandon this emotion, you leave it there. And what happens is, in your life, you continue doing this every time that you're not feeling what you feel. When you're not present to your feelings, you are repeating this trauma all the time, and this blocks the healing process. Not only this this movement here, what happens is you want to solve this, but you're not aware of this part of the emotion suppressed, and you're not even aware of this movement. But what does this movement do? You're looking for experiences, you're looking for knowledge, you're looking for techniques, more and more, and maybe even with anxiety, because you want to solve your issue. You're hoping that you will solve with this course, with this book, with this meditation, with this technique. Which again, if you're doing this, it's okay, because it's a healing process. The whole path is a healing process, okay? It's okay, but the quicker you get aware of what's really happening, the quicker you will solve your issue, right? So be aware of this, because this movement also creates not only the possibility that those 3 restraints hinder your evolution, they slow it down, but also that it's the reason why you have the 4th restraint, that is, you are living alone. You're living alone because you are hiding from something, you are escaping, you're running away from this, because when this emotion, because when you're with a person, that person puts you in touch with this trauma. Sooner or later, it's always like that. We all know this, right? Our partner is one of the biggest teachers we have, besides also our parents or our kids. So healing this part is very important. Now, what do we need to do? I'll explain this really briefly, because I'll create another video about how to do this, right? But the important part is being present, is bring your awareness down here and feel whatever there is without saying anything, explaining anything, just being there and feeling and accepting whatever there is there. And what is very important here is you do not want to change anything. You're not feeling this because you want it to change, to stop feeling anxiety, for example. You just want to be there, and that's it. So I hope these 5 restraints will be helpful for you. And thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next video.